Okay, Heather, since you're not here and you're going to be a little late, I do have to start on the dumplings. And all I've done is you take flour. It doesn't matter whether it's plain or self-rising. And today is like November 15th, I think, 2020. And then I just poured some flour in here. I didn't measure. I just put some in a big bowl, and I had put some water, and we don't know if that's enough or not. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stir it up, and we're going to see how thick or how thin it gets. And then let me show you what I've already done now. I took the chicken and I put it in a big pot of water, and it's been boiling about 2 hours now. So I'm just simmering them real good. And what I have is a little cinnamon and apple in the background, just for a little good Christmas smell. All right. Now, I'll come back on in just a minute after I have got this to a good consistency. You just keep, see, you can tell right now it may be, and then once you get it a little bit with a fork or with a spoon, it doesn't matter. And you just kind of mix all the flour and the water up. And then you've got, and I've already washed my hands, and I washed off the counter with Lysol, wiped it real good with Lysol wipes. And now this is real important, okay? The important part is we gotta flour our hands. That's real important, okay? And so now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of mixing up this a little bit, and then let me move that over a little bit so you can see what I'm fixing to pour flour all over this counter. And I want you to see that because we got, at least 12 people coming today. So I've just spread that flour, and I'm going to spread it all over this counter real good so it's all covered. And the reason why we do that is that so the dumpling mix doesn't stick to the counter, okay? And I'll be back in a minute. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump it out. You can kind of see how it is right now. I've just mixed up the water, and it's a little falling apart, but that's totally fine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay it on this counter, and I'm going to try to get it so you can see better. There we go. We're going to lay it on this counter, and this is a real important piece right here. This rolling pin is, okay? And you want to get it good and floured, really good. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start rolling this out a little bit. It doesn't have to be in a perfect ball. We're just going to start rolling it and seeing what that looks like, okay? And we're going to spread it out almost as thin as we can. And I'll be back and show you a little more once we've rolled it all out, okay? Now, one of the most important things is, I forgot to tell you, is I did sprinkle a little bit of salt all over the dough, just a little bit to give it a little bit more flavor. And also, I'm taking some of the extra flour and I'm putting it on the top of this dough as well. And that helps it not to stick to the rolling pin, okay? So we're going to roll this out. And as I'm rolling this, what I usually do is I'll speak to Jesus and he speaks to me. And I say, Lord, you need to press me just like I'm doing this dough. You need to press me out and thin me out a little bit more. And the larger you get, the more people, the thinner you get, the more people you can affect. So that's what we want to do there. And one more thing, after you get this all rolled out, it has to, the most important part is it has to sit for at least an hour to let it set. Because if you don't, and you just start cutting these and putting them in that boiling water, then they're just going to fall apart. So it has to sit for an hour. And then after it sits an hour and you cut it up into little thin strips and stuff, you have to set it in the boiling water. The water has to be boiling in order for you to put it in there. Okay, so now it's been over an hour and I have started cutting the little dumplings in little squares. And once I get those, and see the water is boiling, So we are sticking that in the water. I've got some over here already cooking too. So that's the last of it, and then you let them cook for a good 20 minutes or so. Love you. Now, if there's anything else you want to learn to make, a recipe or something, just let me know, and Nana, Mama, will make it.